the fans. Me, my imagine say, Omaka Sadiano, I won't also go out there and throw money.
Yeah, my people, so the king of African dancehall, Shattawale, was on a TikTok live with the fans, trying to solicit for ideas, suggestions regards to the second edition of the Shatterfest that will be held in Accra and other parts of Ghana. Yes, he made mention of the western region, that is second day Takrade, and also the eastern region, Koforidua, not to talk about the Ashanti region, Kumasi, the Garden City. So let's look at some of the ideas and the suggestions that the fans gave to Shattawale on how they can make Shatterfest one of the best festivals in Ghana.
I like the submission, and I'm just listening to each line that you are saying, and it's beautiful. Sometimes I tell people I connect to my fans dearly because I believe they know how hard I'm trying to push this whole music career, and my brand and everything. I'm one type of artist that have not been brought to the forefront of Ghana music, but thanks to the fans, I am able to reach out to wherever I want to reach to in the world. You understand? Well, with this whole conversation, the reason why I want us to share this with the fans, and I wouldn't talk much so we can have more fans come online and also, brainstorm around whatever we are going to talk about. My main concern first is, the security for my fans. You get me? That is why I have put up a plan to share to everybody here. And I like, the suggestion from whoever you mentioned somebody's name about the regional kind of thing,
Yeah, Mr. Nkrumah. Yeah.
Mr. Nkumu. Right. I don't want us to always go one way, but to always, develop, that innovation spirit of spreading our wings and see how things work. Ghana music and us, to have certain events and, with, the things we want to do and do it properly. But I believe if we are doing a Shatter Movement concert, or like the way we put it in code Shatterfest, we can be able to be much disciplined and, cautious, and even conscious of our doings. You understand?
Yeah.
I planned this thing to make it regional this year because, like, yes, what Mr. Nkrumah said, you, Modine, already, Enjua, I've sent Enjua what I sent you for her to also go through it. And I've already decided because I feel most of the times it's like disrespect, when we have to move all the funds to a particular location where we know that we can find a way, to, also reach out to the fans and have them enjoy whatever Accra is enjoying, So I decided, and I'm speaking to the team on it, that we should be able to go regional. If this my birthday is going to be a way we can start having, a Shatter Movement tour in the country because it's been years we've never seen some, in the country, and it's not that we the artists or the arts can do it, but sometimes the logistics, the funding to this thing, the sponsorships, are difficult to get in this country because the music industry has not been taken, seriously for, a while now, and it's always looking stressful for artists like us, to move certain things. I know most of the time people say, oh, Shatta, you can do it, Shatta, you can do it, but it is not a one-man thing to do. You understand? People who are not businessmen are only going to pull up weights and maybe behave like, with business, you can do it alone. If you ask every great businessman in the world, they've gone through bank loans, they've gone through investors, they've gone through, processes to get to where they want to get to. So basically, Shatterfest this year I plan on making it a regional concept. Places where we can get venues that security wise the fans can come over and enjoy the moment. If you check places like maybe Volta region, for instance, Volta region has been on my heart for years now because the last time I remember I went to Volta region, some few things happened there, so we couldn't perform. Yes, but I feel I owe them that, not because of anything. I'm seeing, the algorithms and the tractions from Volta region and how they are calling us to come to Volta region. And Volta region is a big place for us where we can host one of our concerts. That is why I've labeled it the Shatter First Experience. The experience is going to be in regions where we feel security wise, we can mobilize the fans, security wise, we can make sure the concert moves on successfully, So Volta region is one of them. Two, I know Takrade, is also a stronghold for me, and we've not been there. And the reason why I'm calling these cities are that when you go to Volta region, there is a stadium there where we can have our concert. When you go to Takrade, there is a stadium there. Even Cape Coast, but Cape Coast and Takrade share the same, sea, kind of coastal line, this thing. So I've been to Cape Coast, I think last year or something. So I feel Takrade, we owe them that because we have a huge fan base in Takrade. From Takrade to Takwa, the Takwa fan base, see the activities they put on there, it's crazy. So this is another place that I've also mapped out. The next place is also Kumasi. I've never had something, for my Americans, in a while, and I want to, be bold and have a stadium show in Kumasi. After Sarkodie's show, I was like, my people love me here, and Kumasi is one of the places that I always say anywhere I go in the world that they supported me wholeheartedly. Like I'm an Ashanti, and so now when I enter Kumasi, I still feel like I'm part of the Mensha Palace. You understand me? Shouts to my king, our honorable Otiko Koso, Osetutu Santini, and did I say Osetutu?
Yes.
Let's put Asantini so we'll make mistake. Otherwise, we'll buy goats, please. Yes, Asantini, the Messiah Palace has been a pride for me, and I always love to, do something, but I've not done something dedicated into the fans in Oseko. So like in Kumasi like this, we also have a stadium there where we can host that. Then we think of, one of the places that it's been a while too that I've been there. Tamale, yes, me and Fancy has done, stuff there recently and it looked beautiful and everything, and they have their thing going on there. I think we can put it in the map, later on. But I feel we have a place like Koforidia where I've not gone to, So I am thinking about these 4 places seriously so we can start the experience with them. It's not that we are going to do it and end there. If we can map out other places, that will also be fine, But I need venues, and that's what my team is working on right now as we are talking. After I decided on this, my team was working for the Independence Square, and what the information they got was that a church has booked on the 17th of October, for the Independence Square. And the stadium too, I hear the Premier League is about to begin, and when those things are about to begin, you can't go and force your way through, But this is the kind of system that we live in, because if they can celebrate this match and can celebrate, Tata First or keep that date for us, we still can move, So we are thinking of climaxing this whole Shatter Fest, by coming back to Accra when we have free dates, And the climax of Shatterfest is going to be at the stadium. You know, we are going to find dates to that and, you know, do that. You know, I know sometimes when we talk like this, before we realize, you know, our social wants to say, oh, they said they want to do show at the stadium, so let us go and book. And they can book any day at the stadium because the foolishness sometimes is too much for me, you know. But we continue from that. But yes, we are putting it out for the fans to know that we want every region to enjoy the moments that we've all had. Like the way you said in the beginning, the numbers that came to Shatterfest, you know, on the first edition was overwhelming, you know. And yeah, I know how our people behave here. When we want to do it this year, when they were even telling us about the dates, I was like, we don't even need, you know, the dates at that time. You know, we'll come back, you know, with you know, specific dates that we want to do it in Accra. But for now, I believe we need to move into the regions, pay respect to not only the fans, but